Others reborn in apocalypse novels build shelters. But I sold my house and took out a loan to buy a heavy truck, because I know that in 7 days, the machine civilization will fully invade Earth. At that time, everything people ride, from bicycles and motorcycles, to sports cars and buses, anything with wheels can transform into a mech. The stronger the vehicle, the more powerful the mech. But in my past life, I didn't even have a toy car. After years of struggling, and nearly losing my life, I barely inherited a light mech. But because of a master-level skill crystal, my girlfriend, whom I loved with all my heart, teamed up with her ungrateful brother and brutally killed me. Now, reborn into this life, I'll make them pay back 1,000-fold. I glanced at the time on my phone. There were still 168 hours until the machine arrival. I headed straight to the Black Belt Company. I sold my parents' house for $800,000. Then I went to the heavy truck dealership to buy a truck. The latest model, the biggest one. The sales lady hadn't even started introducing the models. I cut her off with one sentence. She had no choice but to take me to the garage. The moment the garage door opened, the first thing I saw was a black heavy truck. There was some dust on the truck's body, but that didn't stop me from loving it. Sir, this is our latest heavy truck model. Feel free to ask me anything you want to know. I'll take this one. Sir, will this be a loan or full payment? Can the loan be done today? Yes, sir. With a 50% down payment, the loan process takes 2 hours. Okay, loan it is. Very well, sir. Please follow me. The sales lady was a bit surprised. She had never seen such a decisive customer. I followed closely behind her. Only when the loan process started did my anxious heart finally settle. 2 hours later, all the paperwork was done. The heavy truck was officially transferred to my name. With the truck in hand, the first card in the apocalypse was secure. Can you have someone drive the truck to the halfway point of Shinfeng Mountain? No problem, right? Don't worry, sir. Absolutely no problem. I can drive, but I can't drive a truck. The apocalypse hasn't come yet. If I run someone over now, I'll get arrested. Have your people drive it over. Just leave the keys in the truck. With that, I turned and left. The sales lady looked at the keys in her hand, stunned again. He trusted me with this just like that. Not even following? The reason I wasn't afraid of someone stealing the truck was that after the machine arrival, the mech transformed from the vehicle would only register its owner. Stealing it would be useless. I had other important things to do. No time to waste on trivial matters. Before nightfall, I went to a welding shop. When a vehicle transforms into a mech, it's only in attack mode. No weapons. So fighting would be all fists. But reborn into this life, I was not about to charge into the apocalypse empty-handed. Hey, buddy, first time here. What do you need? Boss, I need a blade. 5 meters long, 30 centimeters wide, 5 centimeters thick on the spine. The welding shop owner was stunned. Buddy, what kind of joke is that? Here's a $10,000 deposit. Can you make it with your best alloy? The boss looked at the cash in front of him, momentarily at a loss. Then he rubbed his hands and said, well, I can make it, but we can't sharpen it here. Just making it is fine. No need to sharpen it. I also need a shield. How many days will it take? About a week or so. I frowned. A week. The mechanical civilization has already arrived. Making it now is useless. No way. I can only give you 3 days. Then I pulled out another $20,000. The boss's eyes lit up. Okay. No problem. Don't worry. I'll guarantee delivery in 3 days. Good. If anything comes up, we'll talk over the phone. After getting home, I quickly ate some food. Then I fell into deep thought. In my past life, when the mechanical apocalypse arrived, a mysterious primal crystal would appear on the mountaintop. What exact grade it was, what brand, no one knew. I had to get my hands on that primal crystal. But just then, the phone suddenly rang. The caller ID clearly showed Zhangzhou, the younger brother of Zhangwan, my girlfriend from my past life. Also the one who personally ended my life. A wave of killing intent instantly surged through my body. I took a few deep breaths, forcing myself to suppress the rage. I pressed the answer button. Guyan, where are you? Hurry up and get to Classic KTV. There are girls here. Zhangzhou's laughing voice came through. His tone was full of scheming. I held back my anger. I'm not going. Have fun yourself, I said coldly, then hung up the phone. My hands trembled uncontrollably. I kept telling myself in my heart to stay calm. It's not time yet. I can't take him down now. After calming down, I blocked all of Zhangzhou's contact info. On the other end of the line, Zhangzhou stared at the hung-up phone and cursed. That bastard must know he's supposed to pay the bill. He's playing dead with me. That's not right. He's been off lately. He's definitely hiding something from me. I need to look into him. 3 days later, the war blade and shield I'd been longing for were finished. After I inspected them myself, I gladly paid the remaining 20,000. Then I had the shop staff load those two big items into the truck. After handing over the warblade and shield, I called a designated driver. Then I bought 1,000 water dispensers and loaded them into the truck. Then I had the designated driver drive the truck to take me to Shinfeng Mountain. Half an hour later, the truck stopped halfway up the mountain. I got out, looked up at the summit. This should be the place. That primal crystal should fall on the mountaintop. I hope nothing changes. But to be safe, I still decided to first check out what the summit was like. At the same time, I could also scout for a good spot to catch rats. After climbing to the summit, I saw a mining area. I slapped my forehead. How could I forget about this? Zhang Dao, the son of a mining tycoon, is one of the future top 10 war gods of Dragon Nation. His mining dump trucks, after transformation, have extremely strong combat power. Better not mess with him for now. Focus on the main task. I turned and ran back to the heavy truck. I took out all the rat traps from the vehicle. After the mechanical apocalypse, most organisms on Earth would become mechanized, and any mechanized creature would have a primal crystal inside its body. Ordinary primal crystals aren't as valuable as high-grade ones, but they can be used to improve a mecha's purification level. If I could catch over 1,000 rats, my mecha could probably undergo its first purification. Thinking of that, I slapped my forehead. Right, I'm still missing something. Right now, rats aren't very big, but after mechanization, their size would balloon to about 3 feet long and 1.5 feet tall. Ordinary rat traps simply couldn't hold those big guys. So, I took out my phone and called the welding shop owner. Boss, I need some thumb-thick iron chains. Each about 6 feet long should do. Bro, how many do you need? 1,000, I guess. Bro, this isn't our first time working together. I won't rip you off. I'll charge you $40 each. What do you think? My whole thing is, I don't haggle over the price. This stuff will be completely useless in a few days. Too rough even to wipe your butt with. But, bro, you've gotta deliver the goods to Shinfeng Mountain for me. With our relationship, that's no big deal. I've got the chains here. I'll bring you the ready-made ones tomorrow. After hanging up, I started setting up the water dispensers. For the remaining 4 days, I planned to stay on Shinfeng Mountain. The next day at noon, the welding shop owner brought his men up the mountain to deliver the goods. But when they saw me fiddling with a mouse in a trap, everyone froze. The boss leaned into the clerk and whispered, "Is this buddy of mine a little off in the head?" The others who came along nodded in agreement. After all, what kind of sane person plays with mice in the middle of nowhere? I smiled and greeted him. "Bro, you're here. Just unload it." The men immediately started unloading the truck. While the clerks were unloading, I transferred 50,000 yuan to the boss. After the unloading was done, the group hurried off, not daring to stick around any longer. Nobody wanted to offend a weirdo who plays with mice in the wilderness. They didn't know that those chains were all meant for tying up mechanized beasts. And just as I was messing with the chains, the roar of a heavy motorcycle came from afar. Two familiar figures appeared at the end of the mountain road. It was Zhang Wen and Zhang Zhou. Zhang Zhou had been tracking me for days, ever since he found out I'd mortgaged my properties to the Black Belt Company. He'd become unusually motivated. "Sis, just pretend to go along with him for now. Knowing his personality, he'll buy you whatever you ask for. That kid's got hundreds of thousands on him right now." "I know. How many times have you said it?" "Don't worry, Zhang Zhou." From the owner of the Han Street shop, they got accurate info about me, then dragged Zhang Wen along to buy a heavy motorcycle worth tens of thousands. Then they headed straight for Shinfeng Mountain. Zhang Zhou rode the new heavy bike, shouting arrogantly, "Gu Yan, I brought my sister to see you. Check out my bike, isn't it cool?" I forced down my rage. It wasn't time yet. The mechanical civilization hadn't arrived. Acting now would only mess up the big plan. It wasn't worth risking everything for these two pieces of trash. Zhang Zhou threw an arm around my neck and grinned. "Buddy, pretty awesome of me, right? I brought my sister along. You'd better step up your game." Then he scratched his head. "Oh, right. I bought this bike on a loan. Still owe a bit on it. Think you could help me out?" I grinned, my tone icy but fake friendly. "No problem. I'll cover it for you. But you'll have to wait until I get down the mountain." "Oh, and your sister isn't leaving anytime soon, is she?" Seeing Zhang Wan's terrified expression, she was afraid of mice. I felt a flicker of vengeful satisfaction. "No, she's not leaving." Zhang Zhou hurried to get out of that godforsaken place. "I'll wait for you to come down and find me." Watching their retreating backs, murderous intent flared in my eyes. "Don't worry. I'll definitely come find you. But next time, it won't be to give you money, it'll be to take your lives. Let you live a few more days. Maybe letting you experience the apocalypse won't be so bad." Time flew by. Before I knew it, it was noon on the 7th day, the day of the mechanical arrival. Right then, the sky was suddenly covered by dark clouds. Countless meteors streaked toward Earth with a faint pressure. I stared at the sky in excitement, murmuring to myself, the mechanical era has begun. Soon, the meteors crashed into the ground. But the explosions I expected never came. I wasn't surprised by that, because those meteors, for humans, I finally understand. Every meteor contains a crystal core. Some of these crystals are high-grade, others are basic. As for what kind of crystal you get, it all depends on your personal luck. When these meteors revealed themselves, a message appeared in everyone's mind. The mechanical opportunity has arrived. From this moment on, every vehicle registered under your name has been transformed into your own mech. Just then, a black core crystal appeared in my hand. I excitedly raised the crystal and roared, "Combine!" The black heavy truck instantly shook violently. Parts reassembled, the body rose up in less than 5 seconds. A 10-meter-tall, pitch-black heavy mech stood before me. A beam of black light shot from the mech's chest, enveloping me. The next second, my body vanished from where I stood, merging into the mech's cockpit. At that moment, I could clearly feel my consciousness, but I could no longer sense my own body. It was as if the mech had become my original body. I couldn't wait to open the panel and check my mech stats. Mech form, original form, mech level, weight 21 tons, combat power 20, type, medium close combat standard power configuration, super matrix engine. Equipment. I was instantly shocked. The engine was actually a super matrix engine. You see, the engine is the core of a mech, and the super matrix engine is the ceiling for early stage mechs. Even a mech that's been purified twice probably wouldn't have this kind of power. Satisfied, I closed the panel and looked at the rats caught in the traps. They were twitching on the ground, their bodies swelling continuously, transforming into machines. They'd be fully formed in another half hour. I grabbed my combat blade and shield and piloted the 10-meter mech as it sprinted along the mountain road, as if on flat ground. In just a few minutes, I reached the mountaintop. On the peak, a crystal radiating rainbow light lay quietly on the ground. A legendary crystal. Seeing this, I was extremely excited. You see, crystal grades from low to high are common, ultimate, advanced, epic, and legendary. In my past life, the one that killed me was just an epic grade crystal, and a legendary crystal, even in the 10th year of the apocalypse, was still priceless and unavailable. Without hesitation, I picked up the crystal. A mechanical voice instantly sounded in the cockpit. Obtained legendary skill, super combat power enhancement. Learning successful. Base combat power plus 100. I couldn't help but gasp in awe. An ordinary mech purified twice might not even reach to 100 base combat power. I checked the skill effect, super combat power enhancement. It can enhance the mech's combat power for 100 seconds, with a 10-minute cooldown. Is this the power of a legendary skill? It's absolutely insane. With this, I'm invincible in the early stages. I looked back at the rats halfway up the mountain. They had already swelled to the size of stray dogs. They'd be fully mechanized soon. But just then, a loud crash suddenly came from the mining area. A huge figure slowly walked out from inside the mine. It was the mining area's or dump truck, transformed into a mech. Watching the mech appear in the mining area, I felt a tiny bit of nervousness. This was definitely a heavy mech, in its original dump truck form. The mech was probably about 15 meters tall, 5 meters taller than my own mech, and it looked even more robust. My medium mech already had a super matrix engine, so the standard engine on a heavy mech had to be even better. Thinking this, a bold idea popped into my head. Should I dismantle that mech and steal its engine? I quickly made a decision. Even though my super matrix engine was already sufficient, a better engine was right in front of me. Not stealing it would be a crime against my own conscience. I quickly got up, grabbed my combat blade, picked up the battle blade. The team and I sprinted at full speed toward the mining area. Under the crushing weight of the 10-meter-tall mech, the simple mountain roads posed no obstacle at all. But when I entered the mining area, I found it in a state of chaos. People were running around frantically, not knowing what they were doing, gathering around mechs of various models, chatting heatedly about something. There were a lot of vehicles in the mining area, with mechs of all sizes lined up everywhere. Every single mech had people crowded around it, and some were already being piloted. Among them, there were also some medium-sized mechs converted from heavy trucks. I ignored those still in a state of confusion, and with my mech taking quick strides, I charged toward the nearest yellow heavy mech. Whoa, look at that big thing move so smoothly. Who is that? Oh my god, this thing is way too cool. A crowd stared intently at the mech I was piloting, their eyes full of shock and envy. But the next moment, they all froze in place. Whoa, what is he doing? I raised the battle blade in my hand, and with one swing, I slashed it straight into the heavy mech's body. Sparks flew everywhere, and the battle blade in my hand successfully cut into the heavy mech's interior. A few minutes later, a 15-meter-tall heavy mech was successfully dismantled by me into a pile of parts. I quickly rummaged through the pile of parts, searching for the engine. After a moment, I successfully found the heavy mech's engine, a nearsighted dual-cycle nuclear engine. As expected of a heavy mech, it was indeed a step above my starter engine. After grabbing the engine, I didn't linger at all, and immediately started to make a run for it. Zhangdao. I wasn't sure if that guy was here or not. If he was here, and he caught on, bringing people to surround me would be a hassle. Besides, killing these primitive mechs now wouldn't bring me any other benefits. As for whether Zhangdao would hold a grudge later, I wasn't worried about that. Once I was about to level my mech up to 10, I could undergo my first evolution. By then, the mech's appearance would change. Even if someone remembered my mech's look now, they definitely wouldn't recognize it later. At that moment, the crowd finally snapped out of it, shouting loudly, "Whoa! That guy is running away! Call the boss, quick! We can't afford to pay for this thing!" I didn't care what these people were going to do. I jogged all the way back up to Xinfeng Mountain. After a glance at the still transforming rats, I found a spot to start swapping out my equipment. I took the dual-cycle nuclear engine out of the mech storage space, and then selected the option to replace it. I didn't need to worry about the replacement process. The mech could handle it on its own. As the mech's armor panels opened up, the mech's chest cavity was exposed. Then, the stolen dual-cycle nuclear engine slowly slid into the mech's interior. A moment later, the mech emitted a mechanical sound. Dual-cycle nuclear engine successfully installed. Stamina +5. I patted my mech's abdominal armor with satisfaction, and put the replaced Super Matrix engine back into the mech's storage space. Then I stood up to get used to the mech's new power. But just then, the entire mountain began to shake. The rats, as if injected with some mysterious energy, began to mechanize at a speed like lightning, their bodies expanding at an astonishing rate. Watching the scene before me, I felt a surge of excitement. It was finally starting. I stood there, waiting for these rats to complete their transformation. A moment later, the rats that had undergone mechanization awoke from their slumber, opening their eyes. Their bodies were completely covered in an impenetrable layer of steel armor, looking like enlarged mechanical rats, full of a mechanical and cold aura. But unlike my mech's eyes, which glowed with a bright blue light, the eyes of these mechanical rats blazed like burning flames, fierce as fire. Something with a bloodthirsty instinct dares to bare its teeth at me. A flicker of disdain flashes in my eyes. The battle blade in my hand gleams with a chilling edge. Facing the nearest mechanical rat, my movements are like lightning. A flash of blade light in my hand. The next second, the clash of steel against steel echoes across the hilltop. But the tiger's fury fades, and that mechanical rat has silently fallen to the ground. Another mechanical rat seems to sense its companion's fate. Its eyes flicker red. It lets out a sharp screech and suddenly lunges, charging at me like a bolt of lightning. I let out a cold laugh and swing my shield with force, with unstoppable power, smashing it hard onto its skull, accompanied by a teeth-grinding screech of crushed steel. The mechanical rat's head is driven into its own body. On the two piles of scrap left by the mechanical rats, 2 ordinary crystals are revealed. I quickly store the crystals into my mech storage, then head straight for the next spot. 1, 2, 3. As my battle blade keeps swinging, the remains of mechanical rats scatter everywhere. Those mechanical rats, bound by iron chains, stagger and stumble, charging at me relentlessly. But what awaits them is my 80-meter-long merciless cleaver. Half an hour later, a dense carpet of mechanical rat carcasses lies on the ground. I collect the crystals one by one, storing them in the mech space. Then I open the panel and begin absorbing the crystals. As the crystals in the mech storage vanish, one after another, the mech's experience points on the panel rise rapidly. After consuming 20 crystals, the mech's voice rings out. Upgrade successful. Combat power increased by 2. I nod. That's about what I estimated. Without hesitation, I start the second upgrade. This time, the mech goes from level 2 to level 3, consuming 50 crystals. That consumption was within my expectations. But when the mech goes from level 3 to level 4, it consumes 100 crystals. I'm a bit surprised. That doesn't seem right. Based on my past life's experience, the crystals needed for leveling up should increase by 20 or 30 each time. Could it be because the mechanical rats just finished transforming, and the energy in their crystals isn't enough? I'm a bit frustrated. I thought over 1,000 crystals would be enough to raise my mech to level 10, and then I could do the first mech evolution. But clearly, it's not enough. Sure enough, when all the crystals are used up, The mech stops at level 8. Total combat power increased by 16 points. At this consumption rate, I'm still short by nearly 700 crystals. Just as I'm thinking about where to quickly get more crystals, the ground suddenly rumbles. Then countless red eyes surround me from all directions. Seeing this, I panic for a moment. Could these be the mechanical rats from inside the mountain? These guys only just got mechanized, and they're already this smart. I was having too much fun killing earlier, and forgot about the mechanical rats hiding in the mountain. But now, their behavior is beyond my expectations. They neither blindly charge at me, nor do they flee. Instead, they gather in an organized way and appear together. I'm a bit surprised. Could there be a leader among them? When creatures undergo mechanization, a leader type can sometimes emerge. An individual that's stronger and can command its own kind. Thinking this, I get very excited. I immediately raise my battle blade and charge into the tide of beasts. And my actions completely ignited the rat swarm's fury. Instantly, the swarm erupted into chaos. Countless rats lunged at me all at once. Yet, facing this scene, I was eerily calm. With my combat power over 100, how could I fear these weaklings? Not to mention, I still had legendary skills unused. The next moment, I dropped my defense. I swung both my war blade and shield into action. With every slash, a mechanical rat was cleanly cleaved in two, and the shield's blows were even more devastating. One heavy strike could smash 2 or 3 mechanical rats to the ground, crippled. But the sheer number of mechanical rats was overwhelming. They swarmed densely all around me. I could wildly sweep the mechanical rats in front, but I couldn't cover my back. In just 2 minutes, the back of my mech was already covered in a layer of mechanical rats. They were like hungry wind wolves, frantically gnawing at the mech's back. Yet, even so, they couldn't breach the mech's defense. As I slaughtered the rats in front, I checked on the mech's condition. Though the mechanical rats couldn't break through the mech's armor, the weight of them piling on the mech had to be borne by the mech itself. With enough numbers, it became a pressure I couldn't ignore. On the panel, the engine power was dropping rapidly. I could use crystals to recharge the engine, but I didn't want to waste them here. Every crystal in the early stages was crucial. I roared, "Get off me," and randomly emptied my pockets. The mech did a dragon roll. The posture was inelegant, but the effect was excellent. Under the mech's heavy body, those mechanical rats were like fragile wheat stalks, instantly crushed. Seeing this, I was greatly encouraged. Compared to slashing with the blade, this rolling and crushing method was devastating. The power was astonishing. With just one roll, 40 or 50 mechanical rats were killed. This efficient way of killing mechanical rats made me not want to get up. With that thought, I gave up on standing. I just used the shield to cover my face, letting the mechanical rats trample everywhere else. When I felt the number of rats on me was about right, I immediately did a dragon roll. Instantly, swaths of mechanical rats perished. At the same time, on the other side, a mechanical rat with blue eyes was directing its minions. They were fiddling with the iron chains on the ground, doing something unknown. At that moment, I had no idea. I was too focused on the rats on me, completely missing what was happening in the distance. Just then, suddenly, a group of mechanical rats cleverly looped the link chains around my mech's limbs. When I tried to roll to break free, more chains wrapped around my body. Caught off guard, I couldn't help but mutter, "Oh, crap, I forgot about that mutant." But do you little things really think you can control me with your strength? I let out a cold laugh, my voice brimming with endless confidence and pride. After all, standing here as I am, what can being chained up do to me? With a powerful pull of my arm, the rats on the other end of the chains flew up instantly, crashing into my chest like arrows off the string. But before I could finish them off, the chains I had just broken free from were quickly grabbed back by more rats. I wasn't flustered at all. I silently chanted to devour the crystals to replenish the engine's power. Even if I kept stalling with these rats, I wouldn't get hurt. But I didn't want to waste any more time here, as the crystal's power was continuously devoured. At the same time, that intelligent mutant mechanical rat appeared. The moment it showed up, it charged straight at me. My massive mech didn't frighten it. Instead, it seemed more excited, because as long as it devours the mech in front of it, it will become even stronger. As a mutant, it not only possesses intelligence, but its combat power is also far greater than its peers. The moment it pounced onto my mech's chest, it opened its mouth, revealing sharp fangs, and began biting fiercely into the mech's chest. The armor that ordinary mechanical rats couldn't damage actually showed tiny cracks under its biting. Seeing this, I was startled. Such hard teeth. But I didn't panic. Even if its attacks could hurt me, it would still take some time to chew through the armor. Right then, I immediately used the legendary skill Super Combat Power Boost. Instantly, my combat power doubled. I shouted angrily, "All of you, get lost!" I pulled hard on the iron chains around me with both hands. The mechanical rats dragging the chains immediately stumbled and fell, falling into chaos. I took the chance to leap up and grab the mutant that was biting my mech's chest. "Armor, die!" I then began to squeeze with my hand. Instantly, the steel armor on that mechanical rat quickly twisted. In less than 2 seconds, that mechanical rat was crushed into a steel ball by my hand. Seeing this, the ordinary mechanical rats were filled with fear. One by one, they fled in panic into the distance. But how could I let them go? I picked up my battle blade and charged at them with my team. At that moment, I was faster and stronger. Under my relentless slaughter, the mechanical rats fled in defeat. I stood there and sighed. No wonder it's a legendary skill, it's insane. Feeling the change in my combat power. Although it consumed a lot of energy at once, I can replenish energy with raw gold. And after the skill effect wore off, I didn't feel any discomfort in my mech. Thinking of this, I quickly ran back to where I killed that mechanical rat. I saw a red crystal floating above the mechanical rat's corpse. I reached out and picked up the crystal. At the same time, the mech's voice sounded. "Opening crystal. Obtained. Fine electric chain whip." Whoa, I couldn't help but exclaim. A red glow means this crystal is a high-grade crystal. Although I thought this crystal might yield something good, I never expected it to be this good. You see, mechanical rats are among the lowest level mechanical creatures. Even if they produce a high-grade crystal, the chance of getting something good is very low. I eagerly picked up the fine chain whip. Electric chain whip. Combat power plus 50. Attacks deal additional electric damage. Hearing this, I was thrilled. What a great item. I then threw away my custom battle blade and shield. Compared to the chain whip, the blade and shield were pure junk. The electric chain whip is a full 10 meters long. Holding it in my hand, it looked incredibly powerful, full of dominance. Electricity danced along the whip like silver snakes, emitting a chilling aura. I was very satisfied with this chain whip, and at the same time, I felt a bit of gratitude toward that mechanical rat. After all, with such a small body, dropping such a large weapon was really quite a stretch for it. Then I began to swing the chain whip, wanting to test it. The wind howled with each swing. Giant trees were cut in half at the waist. As time went on, my control over the chain whip became more and more skilled. This unfamiliar weapon gradually became agile and powerful in my hands. Each swing cut through the air, leaving a sharp trail behind, until my mastery of the chain whip reached a certain level of proficiency. I then turned my gaze to the crystal shards scattered on the ground. This wave netted me over 800 crystals. You can imagine, the swarm of mechanical rats attacking earlier was at least over 1,000. I immediately started controlling the mech to absorb the crystals. The mech's level rose to 9. Combat power increased by 2. Level rose to 10. Combat power increased by 2. Mech can evolve. As the prompts kept sounding off, after consuming 750 ordinary crystals, the mech's level finally reached 10. I checked the surroundings, and seeing no danger, I chose to evolve directly. Suddenly, a mysterious energy surged from the air, like ancient magic, gently sprinkling down onto the mech. The originally towering mech, under the influence of this energy, slowly lifted off the ground, gradually floating upward. As the mech spun gracefully in the air, its form began to transform bit by bit. Every inch of steel seemed to be reshaped by this mysterious energy. Every joint seemed to be given new life. About 10 minutes passed, when the last wisp of energy faded into the air. The mech's transformation was finally complete. Now the mech looked brand new. The most striking change was its increased height. Its original 10-meter body had now grown to 12 meters, making it even more imposing and mighty. Its limbs had also become thicker and more powerful, as if containing boundless strength. Evolution complete. Combat power increased by 30. Mech internal space expanded. Internal and external equipment not activated. Obtained standard external defense armor. Standard external thruster. As the prompt sounded, the mech slowly landed. I immediately opened the panel to check the mech's current stats. Seeing all the stats had improved, I closed the panel with satisfaction. Looking down the mountain coldly, it was time to head down. Now I stared coldly in the direction of River City. Zhangzhou, Zhangwen, get ready to die. Then, I stood on the mountaintop and lightly jumped, and the mech shot out like an arrow from a bow. In just a few minutes, I reached the foot of the mountain, heading straight for River City. Inside River City, there were still plenty of resources waiting for me to harvest. Along the way, I didn't encounter any mechanical creatures blocking me. Soon I entered the city smoothly. Now, explosions echoed through the city. Screams filled the air, painting a scene of apocalypse. I headed straight for the zoo, because there were plenty of high-level mechanical creatures waiting for me. The mechanical creatures in the zoo had caused a huge crisis in River City. Taking them down would definitely yield a lot of good stuff. Meanwhile, in a corner of River City, a mechanical dog was facing off against a light mech. I told you not to keep that stupid dog, but you wouldn't listen. What do we do now? A roaring voice came from inside the mech. That was Zhang Wan. What are you waiting for? Kill it already! Zhang Zhou shouted angrily. If I could kill it, I would have. Look at my mech. That damn dog has bitten how many holes in it? Call Gu Yan quickly. He bought a heavy truck before. His mech must be really strong. Right, I'll call him now. Zhang Wan acted like she'd found a lifeline, fumbling frantically for her phone. On the other end, I was startled by the unknown caller. Who would be calling me at a time like this? I answered the call, and Zhang Wan's hysterical voice came through. Gu Yan, where are you? Come save me. Her voice was choked with tears, revealing a deep sense of despair. Hearing that voice, I thought, a strange sense of pleasure welled up inside me. If it were the old me, hearing him sound like that, I would have rushed over without a second thought. I let out a bitter laugh to myself. Then my voice turned calm and cold. Who are you? Why should I save you? It's me, Zhao Wan. Isn't your mech really powerful? Please come save me. My dog turned into a monster. It's going to eat me. What about Zhang Zhou? He's holding off my dog. But his mech isn't strong enough. He can't hold it. Where are you, exactly? When can you get here? Zhang Wan urged me frantically, as if she wanted me to appear right in front of her. My tone carried a hint of coldness. Let him hold it for now. I can't get away from here. Then I hung up the comm link. It was a joke. I couldn't wait to let him really experience the cruelty of this apocalypse. That kind of life lived in constant fear. Of course, I wanted those two siblings to truly experience it for themselves. Now, I no longer wanted them to die quickly, because that would be too easy for them. As for this time, whether Zhang Wan and Zhang Zhou would meet their end, I wasn't worried. Although the pet dog turned into a mechanical dog was much stronger than the rats. The heavy motorcycle Zhang Zhou bought that turned into a mech wouldn't be too weak either. It was enough to handle the mechanical dog. On the other side, Zhang Wan stared blankly at her phone, her face full of confusion and disbelief. Seeing Zhang Wan spacing out, Zhang Zhou was frantic. He wished he could slap her upside the head. What time is this? You're still daydreaming? What did he say? He said to hold it. Zhang Wan's tone was a bit mechanical. She couldn't understand why this was happening. Didn't Gu Yan like her? Upon hearing this, Zhang Zhou flew into a rage. Bullshit, if I could hold it, why would I call him? At that moment, his hatred for me shot up several notches. Realizing I was no help, he gave up any hope of luck. As for the future, he knew he couldn't count on me either. In this situation, if he didn't want to die, he had to fight that damn thing himself. Then he lunged fiercely at the mechanical dog. At the same time, the mechanical dog's cold body pounced too. The two iron lumps crashed into each other violently, emitting a deafening clash. In this close-quarters brawl, Zhang Zhou was clearly at a disadvantage. The mechanical dog's movements were swift and precise. The scars on Zhang Zhou's mech kept increasing. But luckily, although Zhang Zhou's mech came from a motorcycle, his bike was heavy-duty and brand new. Its initial combat power was slightly higher than the mechanical dog's. Under Zhang Zhou's swinging iron fists, the mechanical dog's body was also taking damage. Watching all this, Zhang Wan had her heart in her throat, because judging by the current situation, it was still uncertain who would survive in the end. At the same time, I entered the zoo. The zoo was no longer the peaceful place it used to be. It had become a paradise for mechanical creatures to run wild, because inside the zoo, there were hardly any human mechs. Even if there were, they had probably already become food for the mechanical creatures. Humans could obtain the primal gold inside mechanical creatures to upgrade themselves. Mechanical creatures could do the same. And they weren't picky at all. Not only could they absorb the power of primal gold, they could also devour steel. Two mechanical creatures, human mechs, were truly a great tonic. They could devour mechs to enhance their own combat power. Devouring humans allows them to enhance their intelligence even more. And mechanical creatures are also capable of evolving. Feeling the waves of battle rising and falling all around me in the zoo, I take a deep breath, my heart filled with excitement. This place is a hell for others, but for me right now, it's a paradise. Yet before I could decide where to start, some reckless mechanical creature charged straight at me. It turned out to be a monkey. I stared at the mechanical monkey, less than 10 feet tall, and froze for a moment. Does my 40-foot mech really have no intimidating presence at all? These mechanical monkeys must be crazy. As I watched, the monkey rushed into my attack range. I casually swung my battle chain, slicing it across. The chain swept through, leaving a trail of purple electricity in the air. As the current passed through the monkey's body, the red light in its eyes vanished instantly. I glanced at the battle chain in my hand, a satisfied gleam in my eyes, so sharp, compared to the custom blade I had before. This chain sharpness is on a whole different level. The monkey's lower half still maintained its charging posture, while its upper body had already been severed, landing alone on the ground. That strike felt like cutting through tofu. Effortless, hovering above the monkey's remains, was a core crystal, but just as I was about to collect it, a group of monkeys suddenly appeared in the area. Roughly counting, there were dozens of them. It startled me. Had I poked a hornet's nest of monkeys? Well, perfect timing. The monkey horde, facing this steel giant that dared to kill their kind, instantly went berserk. Dozens of mechanical monkeys roared and charged at me, looking like they wanted to tear me to shreds. The Monkey King roared loudly from behind them. I couldn't understand monkey language, but I could feel the rage and fury in those roars. Yet I just smirked coldly, with the battle chain in hand. That rage and fury would only become the helplessness of the weak. I swung the chain forward with both hands. The chain turned into a whirlwind in my grip, sweeping through the air around me. Purple electricity danced along the chain, forming several glowing rings spinning around me. At the edge of those rings, any monkey that dared step in would instantly become a lifeless pile of scrap, with only floating core crystals, proving they ever existed. After I had slaughtered over half the horde, the Monkey King finally sensed something was wrong. Its mechanical eyes flickered with caution, and it let out a low, urgent call from its throat. Hearing the king's call, the monkeys that had been attacking me immediately stopped. They all turned and fled into the distance, trying to run. Nice try. I let out a cold laugh, a flash of bloodthirsty light in my eyes, and chased after the escaping monkeys, though the monkeys fled as fast as lightning. I moved like a raging wind, even faster, realizing my terrifying pursuit speed. The Monkey King's eyes were full of panic. It had led its horde to take down many mechs in other zones. Based on its experience, these human mechs were all very clunky, easy to take out. But what was this now? With no other choice, it led the remaining monkeys, charging toward the crocodile zone, because that zone was the closest place around. When steel crocodiles, 20 to 25 feet long, came into my view, I finally realized using a borrowed knife to kill. This monkey had learned to use tactics so quickly. I sighed inwardly. I saw through the Monkey King's plan. The Monkey King leapt over the crocodile's tongue. He turned his head and bared his teeth at me. There were over 20 crocodiles in this crocodile zone. They gathered together. They were enough to tear this mech apart. I stared at the Monkey King. My voice was cold as iron. Don't rush. I'll come kill you in a bit. I definitely wouldn't let one type in the monkey group go. One type in the rat group could drop fine-grade electric combat power. So one type in the monkey group, what kind of surprise would it bring me? And these crocodiles in front of me didn't even have one type. I was slightly stunned. The steel crocodiles blocking my path. Each one radiated a fierce aura. But in their eyes, they all lacked a unique sapphire blue color. If there's none, there's none. I let out a soft sigh. Then I moved. I charged toward the crocodile group like an arrow from a bow. The steel crocodiles were indeed huge, but correspondingly, their movement speed was very slow. For me, these bulky steel crocodiles were just torches. I swung my battle scythe repeatedly. Each swing carried a sharp whistling sound. However, to my surprise, the outer armor of these steel crocodiles could actually block the blade wind of my scythe. When the scythe scraped across the steel crocodile's body, it only left a long, deep wound, but it couldn't kill them in one hit. Even if they can block it, it's useless. The steel crocodile could survive one side's strike, but the electric current attached to the scythe, the attack, had already eroded that part of their body. The powerful electric current could short-circuit that part of the body, thus rendering that part unable to move. It was no different from being paralyzed. Just then, several steel tails suddenly whipped toward me. Seeing this, I was startled. The thrusters behind me suddenly erupted. While dodging rapidly, I kept swinging my battle scythe. Each swing left a shocking scar on the steel crocodile's body. In just a few minutes, the fierce and brutal steel crocodiles were already more than half paralyzed. Seeing this, the smile on the Monkey King's face vanished. It was replaced by deep fear and unease. The next moment, he turned and fled in panic. I glanced at the direction the Monkey King fled. I didn't chase immediately. I wouldn't let these steel crocodiles go, because the crystals dropped by these steel crocodiles were all high-grade crystals. A few minutes later, the entire crocodile zone was cleared by me. After the battle, I had collected a total of 23 high-grade crystals. Then I flew all the way from Shinfeng Mountain back to the city. Having gone through 2 battles now, The engine power was already a bit insufficient, as the ordinary crystals in the mech space kept disappearing. The power within the crystals was gradually injected into the engine. After the power was replenished, I didn't immediately open these high-grade crystals I had just obtained, because if I didn't chase that Monkey King now, he would be long gone. I immediately headed in the direction the Monkey King fled, and chased after him. At the same time, a group of 10 yellow mechs appeared at the zoo entrance. Boss, the mechanical creatures in this zoo must be really high level. We'll definitely get a lot of high-grade crystals. A red super heavy mech, standing 17 meters tall, slowly walked out from behind. Be careful when we go in. If you damage the mech, I'll deal with you. The person inside the mech was none other than Boss Zhang Dao. Don't worry, we definitely won't damage the mech. Besides, our mech is so mighty. Who could possibly have that ability? Zhang Dao was feeling quite pleased with himself. Before the apocalypse, he had ruled Chuan City with an iron fist. Now that the apocalypse had arrived, he wanted to make his reach even wider, to cover an even bigger sky. He waved his hand grandly, then led the way into the zoo. But the next moment, he was stunned by the sight before him. As far as the eye could see, there were nothing but wreckage of mechanical creatures. He turned to look at his group of underlings. What's going on here? Boss, someone's been stealing our kills. A quick-witted underling immediately shouted excitedly. Zhang Dao was startled by this. Let's go see who it is. He had already obtained quite a few origin crystals, and knew how important they were. His mech was currently at level 6, and this time, he planned to raise his mech level all the way to 10. If someone swooped in and took all the origin crystals from the mechanical creatures in the zoo, then how was he supposed to play? So he led a large group of underlings and strode deep into the zoo. A crowd of mechs of all sizes started running. A truly sight. The ground shook violently from their stomping. And on the other side, I felt the ground tremble. I was a little surprised. What big thing is running over here? I glanced back over my shoulder, then ignored it. Whoever it is, I'll just fight them. I continued chasing the Monkey King as it fled ahead. Although the Monkey King was faster than an average mechanical monkey, quite a bit faster compared to my mech, it was still far behind. When I got close behind the Monkey King, it had no choice but to turn around. It bared its teeth, blue light flickering in its eyes. Human, spare me. The Monkey King's voice came out as an electronic synthesized sound, with a hint of pleading in it. I let out a cold laugh, my eyes full of mockery. You weren't laughing like that just now. Then I quickly swung my battle chain, with the force of thunder, and slashed it hard across the Monkey King's body. The blue light in the Monkey King's eyes vanished instantly. Then a high-level origin crystal slowly emerged from its remains. The bright red light from the origin crystal was dazzling. But just as I was about to pick up the origin crystal, a shout suddenly came from behind me. Hey, you! Leave that origin crystal alone. Without turning around, I directly stored the high-level origin crystal into my mech space. Collected. Only then did I slowly turn my head. One look and I recognized who it was. You've got pretty good luck. I'm Zhang Dao. Zhang Dao of Chuancheng Mining. I almost laughed out loud. How could I not know? The engine in my own mech was stolen from him. I suppressed my amusement and said coldly, I've heard of you. Good, that's enough. From now on, work for me. And I promise you won't regret it. Zhang Dao casually threw out an olive branch, without even mentioning what benefits he'd give me. In his eyes, his own reputation was the best olive branch. I said coldly, did you forget to take your meds? Originally, I had some thoughts about recruiting Zhang Dao, but I never expected this guy to come and try to recruit me instead. Kid, what did you say? Zhang Dao didn't react for a moment, even starting to wonder if his ears were playing tricks on him. I snorted coldly, murderous intent flickering in my eyes. Chuanchengzu is now my territory. Get out the same way you came in, or face the consequences. The underling standing beside Zhang Dao shouted angrily. You son of a bitch, are you crazy? Big brother, don't waste words on him. Let's just kill him. Zhang Dao didn't answer right away, but he was clearly trembling with anger. After a moment, he laughed loudly and said, fine. Really fine. It's been a long time since anyone dared talk to me like that. Kill him for me. But be careful not to damage the weapon in his hand. Zhang Dao couldn't even be bothered to do it himself. He just slightly lifted his chin. Nearly 30 mechs lunged at me like mad dogs. This was the moment for his underlings to show their loyalty. All these mechs were converted from Zhang Dao's own industries. He had absolute control over them. As long as he revoked authorization, these people would instantly become useless shells. I sneered, a bunch of trash. Even a second glance is a waste of time. In my eyes, these weren't even real mechs, just crooked lumps of scrap metal. They ran like drunks, collapsing at the slightest touch. I couldn't really blame them for being so pathetic. The apocalypse had only been here for a few hours. When it came to mech piloting, who in this world could compare to me, living a second life? You bastard, still acting tough. Kill him. A light mech charged at me first. A flicker of confusion passed through my eyes. If I wasn't mistaken, that was a damn ranged mech. The mech was holding a proton freeze gun. A genuine high-end prototype. At least $1 million sports car. The problem was, you're a ranged unit. Instead of hiding in the back and taking pot shots, you charge in to fight me to the death. From far away, I can't aim at all. The freeze gun fired a small cluster. Ice blue energy shot out from the muzzle, heading straight for the air 3 meters above my head. These NOOBS ... Their aim was just incredible. The next second, the battle blade cut through the air. Amid the sharp whistling sound, purple electric light swept across like a scythe of death. A 10-meter battle blade plus a 5-meter mech arm, giving an attack range of 15 meters. That light mech had just entered what it thought was a suitable distance. When it stepped right into my slaughterhouse, the screech of tearing metal exploded harshly. Purple electric light flashed through the light mech's cockpit. The mech was instantly cut in two. It crashed to the ground with a boom. The pilot's body inside the cockpit was also split in half. Blood seeped through the cracks in the broken metal. The whole place fell dead silent. Then came a clattering crash of metal on metal. The mechs in front slammed on their brakes. The ones behind crashed into them. Nearly 30 mechs instantly tangled into a mountain of scrap. No one dared take another step forward. Zhang Dao stood in the back, his pupils contracting. He hadn't expected me to be this strong. His gaze was fixed on the weapon in my hand, the electric battle blade still dripping with blood. The greed in his eyes was almost overflowing. A good thing ... Soon it'll be mine. I noticed Zhang Dao's look. He sneered inwardly, still eyeing my battle blade. Your turn now. Hey, wake up, it's still daytime. Zhang Wei pointed at the sky. The mockery in his gesture was obvious. 100 crystals. If Zhang Wei isn't mistaken, they're all ordinary crystals, right? And you had the nerve to say you'd allow yourself to hunt in the zoo. Did this guy not hear clearly just now what I said? The zoo has already been taken over by Zhang Wei. It's Zhang Wei's territory. As for being equals, that's even more impossible. In this life, Zhang Dao didn't even qualify to be on equal footing with Zhang Wei. In fact, Zhang Dao's greatest opportunity had already been stolen by Zhang Wei. Are you trying to burn the boats? Zhang Dao was furious. He had already made so many concessions. And this guy was still being stubborn. You don't have the right to burn boats with me. Zhang Wei stated this harsh reality. Oh, and I suggest you look behind you. Zhang Wei pointed in the direction behind Zhang Dao. Upon hearing Zhang Wei's words, Zhang Dao instinctively turned around. The moment he turned, Zhang Dao was so startled he nearly jumped on the spot. Before he knew it, a swarm of mechanical creatures had appeared behind him. And not the small ones like rats or monkeys. These were a herd of mechanical deer, each at least 5 meters tall. There were at least 50 or 60 of them. Their sharp steel antlers were a full 2 meters long. If one of those rammed him, Zhang Dao figured that even his 17-meter-tall mech would be pierced through. How did they manage to get behind him without making a sound? No, that didn't matter anymore. What mattered was that they were charging. Get up, block them, Zhang Dao shouted, frantically urging his fallen underlings to get to their feet. But the deer herd gave those mechs no chance. Under the command of one of the leaders, the herd charged into the chaotic mechs. Zhang Wei shook his head. He knew these mechs were about to be completely wrecked. At the same time, Zhang Wei glanced at Zhang Dao. It seemed that in his past life, he must have gotten superpower combat enhancements before things went smoothly for him. Otherwise, with his level of intelligence, even if he started with a 17-meter super heavy mech, he would have died a miserable death right from the start. Zhang Wei analyzed the situation as he watched calmly, with no intention of lending a hand. In fact, Zhang Wei not adding fuel to the fire was already being kind. Of course, the main reason was that Zhang Wei didn't want to waste energy. Smashing these nearly 30 mechs to pieces would also consume a lot of power. The key point was that, after smashing them, Zhang Wei wouldn't gain any benefit. This way was much better. Let the deer herd take care of these guys. Then he'd step in and take out the herd. Brother, save me. Zhang Dao's cry was extremely urgent. And as he shouted, he charged toward where Zhang Wei was. The collision between the deer herd and the mechs was earth-shattering. In just the first wave of impact, the lights went out on 10 mechs. They lost all signs of life. The remaining mechs were all damaged. Given the state of these mechs, trying to withstand the next attack was nothing short of a fantasy. Even those 15-meter-tall heavy mechs couldn't hold out either. Zhang Wei kept cursing in his mind about the waste of good resources. Such excellent mechs, given to these people, were a huge waste. As for saving them, why should he? Because you have money. Before the apocalypse, money might have worked. But now, brother, save me. Whatever you want, I can give you money, women, anything. Zhang Dao understood very well that he couldn't escape the pursuit of these mechanical deer, because his skill at piloting the mech was about the same as his underlings. He wouldn't get far before the herd caught up. The only one who could save him now was Zhang Wei. Only now did Zhang Dao realize just how terrifying Zhang Wei was. Thinking back to the metal wreckage they'd seen when they first entered the zoo, this guy must have slaughtered how many of these mechanical creatures to create all that scrap metal. I'm not interested in what you're offering. And don't call me brother. My name is Zhang Wei. Zhang as in arrogant, and Wei as in majestic and unrivaled. At that moment, Zhang Wei was indeed being arrogant. But unfortunately, besides Zhang Dao, there was no other audience. Zhang Dao had no mind to care whether Zhang Wei was bragging or not. He just wanted to survive. Brother Zhang Wei, we're both Zhangs. Maybe we're even relatives. If you save me today, I'll definitely repay you well. Oh, right, crystals. I have crystals. I also know where to find high-quality crystals. I'll give them all to you, relatives or not. It definitely won't be enough to impress Zhang Wei. But what Zhang Dao said about Yuan Jing, that really caught Zhang Wei's interest. After all, Zhang Dao was one of the top 10 war gods in his past life. The opportunities he obtained definitely weren't limited to the legends and skills of Xinfeng Mountain. If he could get his hands on Zhang Dao's other opportunities too, then Zhang Wei's goal of being invincible would be one step closer. Stand behind me, Zhang Wei ordered Zhang Dao, his tone carrying an undeniable authority. Zhang Dao was waiting for that exact line. He didn't dare say a single extra word. But before Zhang Dao could even move behind Zhang Wei, he saw Zhang Wei pilot his mech and shoot into the sky, instantly flying over Zhang Dao's mech and landing steadily in front of the deer herd. By this time, the deer herd had already taken down almost all of Zhang Dao's underlings. As for Zhang Wei, who dared to stand up right before them, they released a wild, angry aura. But just then, one of the mechanical deer in the herd let out a cry, which calmed the agitated herd. Got some eyes, Hung, you can tell I'm not someone to mess with. But just because you're backing off doesn't mean I'll let you go. Zhang Wei swung his war chain, charging at the deer herd. Dismantling mechs doesn't get you much, but killing these mechanical deer, that gives Zhang Wei real, tangible benefits. The deer herd, which had mostly settled down, saw Zhang Wei's move and instantly erupted into chaos. The prey was actually counter-charging the hunter. That was a challenge to the hunter's authority, without needing the special mechanical deer to command. The mechanical deer in the front row immediately charged at Zhang Wei, watching them lower their heads and charge, their antlers aimed right at him. Zhang Wei let out a cold laugh. You think I'm one of those idiots you already tore apart? Zhang Wei swung his war chain. The scythe on the war chain was a hooked scythe, extending over 1 meter long. That let the war chain bypass the antlers and easily drive the scythe into the mechanical deer's body. The mechanical deer's body defense was no match for the steel crocodile. One swing, and they were gutted open. The mechanical deer charging at Zhang Wei fell on the path of their charge. Zhang Dao stood frozen not far away, his heart pounding with fear. Witnessing Zhang Wei's true combat power, Zhang Dao was stunned. Why was he still alive? Just now, he had actually foolishly provoked someone so powerful. In Zhang Dao's terrified gaze, the mechanical deer fell one after another. No matter what angle the mechanical deer tried to ram Zhang Wei from, the result was always futile. Even when a whole group of mechanical deer charged from all directions at once, Zhang Wei easily dodged them. And while dodging the impacts, he could still take out 2 or 3 mechanical deer. In less than 5 minutes, the number of mechanical deer in the herd had sharply dropped to just 5. Among those 5 surviving mechanical deer was that special one. You are strong. I don't want to be your enemy. The mechanical deer spoke. Hearing a mechanical deer speak human language, Zhang Dao's mech's jaw dropped wide open. Zhang Wei, however, was already used to it. What are you offering to trade for your life? Zhang Wei didn't rush to attack the special mechanical deer. Sometimes, the special ones among these mechanical creatures could provide some good stuff, like certain equipment they had hidden away. The special mechanical deer hesitated. What good stuff could it have? Well then, I'll give you all the raw gold from the metal wreckage on the ground. Okay, that raw gold was probably yours to begin with. Since you have nothing to trade, then leave your life behind. Zhang Wei moved, his speed as swift as the wind. As Zhang Wei charged at the special mechanical deer, the 4 mechanical deer surrounding it, he actively charged at Zhang Wei. But these 4 mechanical deer that suddenly appeared out of nowhere could only buy a little time at best. Yet what a mechanical deer needed was exactly that little bit of time. Electromagnetic pulse. The mechanical deer let out a final cry in its heart. Then, Brilliant electric light suddenly burst from its hooves. The light was intense, as if it would devour everything around it. Two bolts of electricity twisted and tangled in the air, eventually merging into a single straight current, like lightning tearing through the night sky, speeding straight toward Zhang Wei. "Watch out," Zhang Dao blurted out. His warning carried a hint of tension and fear. Zhang Dao wasn't really worried about Zhang Wei's safety. He knew that Zhang Wei couldn't die. If Zhang Wei died, then he'd be dead too. If Zhang Wei couldn't even kill this thing, then with his own combat power, being even weaker than Zhang Wei, what could he use to fight the mechanical deer? It's already learned the skill. That fast, Zhang Wei was very surprised. He hadn't expected this mechanical deer to master the skill. In such a short time, Zhang Wei, who had just cleaved one mechanical deer in two, held his war halberd in front of him. Right now, a war shield would have been nice. Unfortunately, Zhang Wei's war halberd was a two-handed weapon. While gaining powerful attack, he was bound to lose some defense. The electromagnetic beam, like a speeding bolt of lightning, struck the war halberd head-on. In an instant, that immense force, like a violent storm, swept over him. It forced Zhang Wei to stagger, involuntarily taking 2 steps back. The war halberd couldn't fully block the electromagnetic beam's power. Some of the electricity, like a snake, coiled around Zhang Wei's arms. After his arms were covered by this energy, they felt bound by an invisible force, becoming sluggish and heavy. But that was all. "Your turn's over, now it's mine." Although his arms were slowed by the electromagnetic effect, Zhang Wei could still swing the war halberd. He gave a powerful swing, the halberd cutting through the air with spiritual energy, striking straight at the mechanical deer. The mechanical deer had already lost most of its power. All its internal energy had been used to release the electromagnetic beam. It couldn't dodge. Zhang Wei's speed was like lightning, incredibly fast. Even a fully powered mechanical deer couldn't escape. With one slash of his spiritual energy-charged halberd, the mechanical deer was cut in two. That was its final fate. Zhang Wei stepped forward. In a few steps, he reached the mechanical deer's remains. He collected the crystal that burst from its body into his mecha space. But Zhang Wei was a little disappointed. Although the crystal's light was brilliant, it was only high grade. It wasn't the epic grade he had hoped for. He had thought that this mechanical deer, which had mastered a skill, would at least drop an epic grade crystal, but reality was different. "Big brother, you're amazing." Zhang Dao spoke up at the wrong time. Actually, Zhang Dao didn't want to disturb Zhang Wei. If it were possible, he would have used his burrowing skill to escape. Too bad he couldn't burrow. So instead of waiting for Zhang Wei to notice him, he figured he'd better say some nice flattering words first. "Your turn. What are you going to use ... to trade for your life?" Zhang Wei slowly turned around. Although Zhang Wei wasn't emitting any aura, Zhang Dao still felt a dizzying presence enveloping him. "Trade with what?" "The mechanical deer that just died ... could and single quotes to come up with anything to trade for its life. So it died. I've got something good here." Zhang Dao quickly spoke up. He was afraid that, if he spoke too slowly, Zhang Wei's battle alliance would fall on him. Zhang Wei didn't say anything. His deep blue eyes just stared silently at Zhang Dao. Zhang Dao nervously said, "Besides knowing about that round crystal, I also have some good gear here. Take a look." Whether the gear was good or bad, Zhang Wei had his own standards to judge. If Zhang Dao was trying to fool him, Zhang Wei wouldn't mind making Zhang Dao suffer a bit. Zhang Dao felt very unwilling inside, but to save his own life, he had no choice but to obediently open the mech's abdominal armor. He took out a cargo hold glowing with purple light. "This is an epic-grade ion shield pod. It has a lot of internal space. I got it from a master-grade round crystal." Actually, Zhang Dao didn't need to explain at all. When Zhang Wei saw this cargo hold, he already knew that this cargo hold was definitely top tier. "Big brother, can you trade this for my life?" Zhang Dao looked uncertainly at Zhang Wei. "Yes." Zhang Wei didn't show his excitement. His reaction was somewhat flat. Hearing Zhang Wei's affirmative answer, Zhang Dao breathed a sigh of relief. Then he very obediently stepped forward and personally handed the cargo hold to Zhang Wei. A mech 17 meters tall, being completely respectful to a mech only 12 meters tall. This scene was somewhat hard to believe. It was like a middle school student respectfully offering snacks to an elementary school student. Zhang Wei casually equipped the cargo hold into his mech's internal storage slot. Zhang Wei's mech originally had no cargo hold, so this saved him the trouble of swapping one out. Equipping the epic grade ion cargo hold increased combat power by 20. As long as it's equipment, no matter where it goes, it can boost combat power. Though 20 points was a bit low, it was still better than nothing. Besides, this cargo hold was just an internal storage item. Its main function was to store things. "You're done here. Go." After equipping the cargo hold, Zhang Wei casually gave the order to leave. "You're just letting me go." Zhang Dao couldn't quite believe his ears. He never thought that Zhang Wei would really let him leave so easily. If he were in Zhang Wei's shoes, killing him and taking the treasure would be the most logical move. "What? You want to stay a bit longer in my place? Do you have more good stuff?" No. It's just that round crystal ... I'll come find you after I finish things here." Zhang Wei's words instantly made Zhang Dao's heart sink. "Find me? What for? Just seeing you makes my legs shake now. How about after I find the primal crystal, I have someone deliver it to you? We'll be even from now on, okay?" But this wishful thinking, Zhang Dao didn't dare say out loud. He could only mutter softly, "Okay, big brother, I'll go right now and retrieve that primal crystal for you. Don't think about running. The inheritance is still safe for now, as long as you don't do anything stupid. With your abilities, nothing should happen. But if you flee the city, you might not see the next day's sun." Zhang Wei warned Zhang Dao. Originally, since they were already enemies, killing him to silence him would definitely be safer. But Zhang Wei gave up on that idea. Zhang Dao's luck with opportunities was definitely strong. Most of the good stuff Zhang Wei had now came from Zhang Dao, so keeping Zhang Dao alive was far better than killing him. Keeping Zhang Dao around, as long as Zhang Wei went to see him every few days, there should always be a surprise. "Don't worry, big brother. I won't run. I definitely won't run." Zhang Dao kept waving his hands at Zhang Wei. "Let's go." Zhang Wei pointed toward the entrance of the zoo. "Okay, big brother." Zhang Dao left respectfully. Once he was out of Zhang Wei's sight, he immediately ran at his fastest speed toward home. Zhang Wei watched Zhang Dao run out of sight, then began using ordinary energy crystals to recover himself. His power needed to be restored. Having just withstood the electromagnetic pulse, the damage to his arms also needed healing. Absorbing the energy from the ordinary energy crystals was enough, while his body was automatically absorbing the ordinary energy crystals and recovering. Zhang Wei took out the loot from the internal space of his mech, the ultimate crystal provided by the mechanical monkey, and the high-grade crystals from the mechanical crocodile and mechanical deer. This pile of crystals numbered over 100. Opening the crystals, Zhang Wei opened them one by one, starting with the ultimate crystal. No surprises there. Among the intermediate energy crystals from the mechanical monkey, not a single piece of equipment appeared. They all turned into mech experience points. Several dozen intermediate energy crystals pushed Zhang Wei's mech level to 13. Although the level increase wasn't much, the boost in combat power was still satisfactory to Zhang Wei. After level 10, each level up added 4 points of combat power. The ultimate one didn't drop anything. With so many high-grade crystals, including 2 that were dropped by the same type of monster, surely something would come out, right? Zhang Wei began opening the high-grade crystals with some anticipation. High-grade crystals provided more experience points. Zhang Wei's mech level started skyrocketing. When Zhang Wei opened the 17th crystal, he finally got a drop, a fine-grade unified cargo hold. Zhang Wei was very dissatisfied with the cargo hold. He already had an epic-grade cargo hold. What use was this fine-grade one? Putting it away, Zhang Wei stored the unified cargo hold into his own cargo hold space. The internal space of the epic-grade cargo hold was quite large. The cargo hold was cylindrical, only half a meter long, -1 centimeters wide, and 50 centimeters high. But inside this small cargo hold, there was actually over 10 cubic meters of space. Such a large space was enough to store many things. As for why he put away the useless cargo hold, it was definitely useful. Although Zhang Wei no longer needed this low-level cargo hold, other people did. Even if he couldn't trade it for something, he could exchange it for some energy crystals. Daily updates on the White Novel. Search 53,168. Official account. Mayday reading. After Zhang Wei put away the unified cargo hold, he continued opening the crystals. Perhaps because it was the early days of the mechanical invasion. Inside the high-grade crystals, no equipment was found, except for the last 2 crystals dropped by the same type of monster. They were all just experience points. Is my luck really this bad? Zhang Wei was feeling a bit annoyed. Even in his miserable past life, his luck wasn't this terrible. Let's see if you guys drop anything. Zhang Wei placed his last hope on the remaining 2 crystals. Opening them, he got the skill, Death Laser. Zhang Wei immediately grinned. Jackpot. Keep opening. Got excellent grade external armor reinforcement and alloy armor. As expected, it had to be the same type. Zhang Wei was very satisfied with the drops from these 2 crystals. Learning Death Laser. Successfully learned Death Laser. Death Laser, an active skill that attacks multiple targets in a straight line. This was probably dropped by a mechanical deer. Not bad. Zhang Wei nodded in satisfaction. The Death Laser skill could be considered a ranged attack method, making up for Zhang Wei's own shortcomings. Moreover, this death laser had a similar effect to the electromagnetic beam of a mechanical deer. Not only could it destroy targets, but it could also paralyze them. Equipment: reinforced alloy armor. Excellent grade reinforced alloy armor. Combat power 30, durability 500, not bad. Zhang Wei commented. All armor can self-adapt to mech size. Compared to the death laser skill, the armor is indeed a bit underwhelming. The increase in combat power for Zhang Wei is just so-so, but armor provides defense, so a small combat power boost is understandable. As for how good the armor's defense is, it depends on the armor's quality and materials. Reinforced alloy as a material is pretty decent in the early apocalypse. It can withstand attacks from ordinary mechanical creatures. Durability measures the wear and tear on external armor. If durability gets too low, the armor's defense will drop significantly. The mech level has risen to 19. Leveling up is pretty fast. If we look at it this way, I might be able to raise the mech level to 30 today. At level 30, the mech can undergo its second purification. Zhang Wei imagined he'd have smooth sailing, but he never thought it would be this smooth. On the very first day of the apocalypse, completing the first to mech purifications before his rebirth, that was something he wouldn't even dare to dream of. Thinking this, Zhang Wei quickly got up. All the ordinary yuan gold had been absorbed by Zhang Wei. The mech's power had recovered to 90%. The numbness in his arms had also disappeared. No more yuan gold left. Zhang Wei muttered to himself, heading deeper into the zoo. At this point, Zhang Wei really had no yuan gold left. Not a single high-grade one. Only a few ordinary yuan gold remained. Collecting yuan gold was urgent. After walking a short distance, Zhang Wei entered the fox area. But in this area, there was no sign of any foxes. Where are the monsters? Zhang Wei was puzzled. However, as Zhang Wei went deeper and deeper into the zoo, this confusion grew stronger. The zebra area, the giraffe area, the hippo area, all these areas were completely empty. Not a single mechanical creature in sight. Could they have all been taken out by the mechanical creatures in the predator zone? Doubt surged in Zhang Wei's mind. Then, he didn't linger in the herbivore area. He headed straight for the predator zone. Predators are naturally bloodthirsty and aggressive. After turning into mechanical creatures, their combat power is much stronger than that of herbivore-type mechanical creatures. That's why Zhang Wei saved the predators for later. But when Zhang Wei entered the predator zone, his confusion turned into anger. Where did all the monsters go? What Zhang Wei didn't expect was that the predator zone was also completely empty. Not a single mechanical creature in sight. Zhang Wei was planning to harvest more yuan gold to evolve his mech a second time. He never thought this would happen. How can I evolve without monsters? Actually, those mechanical creatures were all alive and well. They had just escaped from the zoo when Zhang Wei was slaughtering the monkey group. Some mechanical creatures sensed Zhang Wei's presence. After Zhang Wei wiped out the crocodile group, some mechanical creatures chose to flee. Even mechanical creatures that hadn't evolved have an instinct to avoid danger. What's more, those that had already evolved into first-tier mechanical creatures possessed intelligence nearly on par with humans. They not only knew how to survive in this dangerous world, but also how to avoid potential threats. At first, only about half of the mechanical creatures had run away. But when Zhang Wei destroyed a first-tier mechanical deer that had already learned to use skills, all the mechanical creatures in the zoo fled together in a group, facing an unbeatable god of slaughter. Would they stay and wait to die? If Zhang Wei hadn't chosen to absorb yuan gold after Zhang Dao left, and hadn't wasted time, no time wasted, there should still be some mechanical creatures to catch. It's too late now. They've all run off. Let's see where you can go. Zhang Wei knows the mechanical creatures here definitely aren't dead, because there aren't many mechanical remains in this park. And in the past life, to wipe out the mechanical creatures in this zoo, humans sacrificed countless lives. Only then were these mechanical creatures eliminated. Now, since he hasn't touched these mechanical creatures, they must still be alive. They just all left the zoo. As long as they don't escape the city, I'll run into you sooner or later. With that, Zhang Wei turned and left. What's the point of staying here without mechanical creatures? Although Zhang Wei looks down on the weak mechanical creatures roaming the city, cutting them down still yields something. It's better than doing nothing. Oh, right. Should I go check on those two bastards? No monsters to kill. Zhang Wei suddenly remembered Hanzi and Hansu. I'll take a look. Zhang Wei made his decision. If those two bastards are doing okay, Zhang Wei would definitely find some fun for them. If they're living miserably, then Zhang Wei will think carefully about whether to add insult to injury. Anyway, he had nothing else to do. Along the way, he'd clean up mechanical creatures. Collecting some cores is good too. Leaving the zoo, Zhang Wei didn't run. He just strolled leisurely down the street. Although the streets were still in chaos, There weren't many obstacles in his way. Gone was the bustling traffic of the past. Only scattered mechanical creatures were hunting humans everywhere. Zhang Wei witnessed people being hunted. He had no intention of intervening. Zhang Wei is no saint. In this apocalypse, everyone's life depends on their own skill. If you die, you can't blame anyone else. Only when those mechanical creatures were foolish enough to actively provoke and come after Zhang Wei would he show his ruthless methods. But even though Zhang Wei didn't act often, his sharp attacks were still noticed. Photos of Zhang Wei cutting down mechanical creatures like sand spread wildly across various group chats and moments on social media. There were even some videos of Zhang Wei slaying mechanical creatures. Every swing of his blade, every perfect kill, proved Zhang Wei's strength. Oh my god, this guy is amazing. Can we be saved? Someone couldn't help but exclaim, their words full of longing for survival. Who has this person's contact info? I can give him a lot of money. I want him to protect me. Someone couldn't help but exclaim, their words full of longing for survival. Yet others sneered at this. It's already the end of the world. What use is money? Since he has this ability, he should take on the responsibility. This remark also sparked rebuttals. Bullshit. His strength is his own business. Why should he protect you? Is he your dad? How can you talk like that? Do you have any humanity? All kinds of arguments blazed like wildfire in various group chats. Some voices were filled with pleading and hope. Others tried to tempt and hire with money. And still others tried to bind others with the chains of morality. All kinds of voices intertwined, like a chaotic symphony. But without exception, Zhang Wei's appearance was like a breath of fresh air, bringing confidence to some people. Because in their eyes, if Zhang Wei could effortlessly slay those mechanical monsters, then they should be able to too. After all, most people have mechs. By now, Zhang Dao had returned to his villa. He held his phone. He looked at his phone screen with a disdainful smile on his face. You know what? Rich people always have privileges, no matter what time it is. Sure, Zhang Wei wiped out Zhang Dao in one go, along with about 30 of his men. But he still has plenty of people left, plenty of mechs. His family runs a mining company. He's got a ton of cars under his name too. Right now, outside the Zhang family villa, over a dozen mechs, each 10 meters tall, are patrolling and guarding the place. What a bunch of idiots. They actually expect him to protect them. That's insane. It'd be merciful if he didn't just kill them on a whim. Hey, did the guys outside get that you want gold, or not? Zhang Dao shouted out while scrolling through his phone. By now, Zhang Dao had already separated from his mech. Around his neck, he wore a tan-colored mech core. As long as the mech core was on him, he could merge with his mech at any time. After the mech's initial transformation, the disassembled mech would retreat into the mech core. It was as if inside that mech core, there was a huge space. Young master, the people we sent are still searching. We should have news soon. A man who looked like a butler stood in front of Zhang Dao. The look on his face when facing Zhang Dao was even more respectful than before the apocalypse. Before the apocalypse, if Zhang Dao was unhappy, the worst he'd do was yell or hit someone. After all, it was a society ruled by law. But now it's the apocalypse. Killing someone is just about the smallest thing you can imagine. If you really made Zhang Dao angry, people would actually die. Tell them to hurry up. I don't have much time. Zhang Dao waved his hand impatiently. Zhang Wei was like a dark cloud, hanging over his head. He didn't know when Zhang Wei would show up. If Zhang Wei appeared in front of him, and he didn't have what Zhang Wei wanted, what would happen then? Zhang Dao didn't dare to think about it. Yes, young master. I'll go urge them now. Just as the butler was about to leave, Zhang Dao suddenly spoke up. Wait, never mind, go ahead. Zhang Dao waved his hand in resignation. He had originally wanted to have the butler arrange for some girls to come in. But after thinking about it, he really wasn't in the mood right now. The butler turned and left. Should I look into his background? But I only know a name. How am I supposed to investigate that? The network isn't completely down yet. You can still look up some things if you try. But Zhang Dao didn't know what Zhang Wei looked like. He didn't even know Zhang Wei's age. With just a name, where would he even start? Forget it. I can't afford to provoke him. With that guy's cold personality, even if he caught his family, it probably wouldn't be enough to threaten him. If he really got him angry, every single person here would die. Zhang Dao gave up on those unfriendly thoughts. A god of death like that, you can only appease him, not provoke him. Night fell, like a huge piece of black velvet, slowly covering the entire city. Zhang Wei strolled leisurely, walking all the way to the neighborhood where Hansu lived. Right now, the whole neighborhood was filled with smoke. Metal wreckage was everywhere, but the silence around was terrifying. The initial chaos had mostly come to an end. The people who were supposed to die had died. The people who were supposed to hide had hidden. Some mechanical creatures had been destroyed, but more were lurking in the shadows, waiting for their chance. Take Hanzu's neighborhood, for example. Zhongwei had already spotted several mechanical creatures hiding in the dark. Most of them had been transformed from former pet cats and dogs. Transformed from that. But now, they no longer had their former gentleness and cuteness. In its place was coldness and cruelty. When their eyes met Zhongwei's, they all chose to retreat. Their survival instinct told them this mech was not to be messed with. There weren't many medium mechs in the city. Most were light mechs, converted from motorcycles, cars, and the like. The mechanical creatures destroyed during the day were all taken out by light mechs. If light mechs could handle those mechanical cats and dogs, then Zhongwei's medium mech was more than enough. Today was just the beginning, the very start. Tomorrow would be even more exciting. Or maybe tonight would be exciting enough. Zhongwei looked up at the sky. Animals turning into mechanical creatures included birds. Not many mechanical birds appeared during the day. That wasn't because birds were more merciful than other animals, but because the mechanical birds were also adapting to their new body structures. After all, they had to fly. Tonight, military aircraft would be patrolling the whole area. Those planes would be attacked by mechanical birds. Zhongwei had personally experienced this in his past life. As Zhongwei was thinking, he walked to the bottom of Han Zujia's building. Han Zujia lived on the 3rd floor of a 6-story building. With Zhongwei's current height, reaching Han Zujia's floor was no problem at all. But Zhongwei didn't show himself. He stood by Han Zujia's place and listened quietly. "Hansu, what the hell are you thinking? Why isn't there any food in the house?" Han Zhao's voice carried a barely noticeable tremor and anger. He tried to keep his voice down, afraid of attracting those terrifying monsters. "What are you yelling about? Even if there was food, it's not like you'd know how to cook it. Aren't you good looking? There's a single fat guy living upstairs. Go up there, seduce him, and get us some food." Hansu was lying on the couch, his face pale. He looked seriously injured. If those words had fallen on an ordinary woman's ears, she would have been furious. But Hanzi didn't lose his temper. He frowned slightly, a glimmer of longing flashing in his eyes. It was very obvious. Hanzi was tempted. "Why would I lie to you?" Hansu said impatiently, looking at Hanzi. "What time do you think this is? Do you think I've got the energy to mess with you? Fine, I'll go up and check it out." With that, Hanzi actually started walking upstairs to take a look. How did I ever fall for a woman like this in my past life? A wave of disgust washed over Zhongwei. He wished he could slap himself. A few times, after the apocalypse, women trading their bodies for food was common. But that was years into the apocalypse. At the very beginning, this kind of thing was still very rare. For Hanzi to act like this, it was clear he wasn't a good person to begin with. Click, click, click. The sound of high heels echoed sharply in the silent stairwell, each step seeming to strike at people's hearts. When Hanze reached the door on the 4th floor, his face immediately put on a delicate, wronged expression. He even tore at his own collar forcefully, making Han Zhao's already skimpy outfit